Good evening and a very warm welcome to the Neat Wellbeing Centre, where we are less than 4 minutes away from the start of this British Championship basketball encounter between the City of Birmingham Rockets and the Yorkshire Dragons, coming to you live on the COB Rockets YouTube channel. My name is Aaron Viles. I'll be a commentator for the action this evening, and if I had to describe this fixture using just one solitary word, that word in question would be tasty. On the one hand, you have the Rockets, who have only lost one in their last 5 home matches across competitions, whilst on the other, you've got a very informed Yorkshire Dragons side who have only lost 1 game in their opening 7 league fixtures. Adding to the mix the fact that these two sides are set to battle it out in the grand final of the BCB Cup in early 2026, and you can see why this is such a highly anticipated encounter. So with all of that in mind, let's now take a look at the two teams taking to the floor tonight, starting with the hosts. Let's take a look at the City of Birmingham Rockets. So wearing the number 0 will be Ron Blaine. Donning the number 3 jersey is Eric Donaldson. Wearing the number 5 tonight, a late addition into Charles Smith's side, is Phil Batty-Udis. In at number 6 is Lucas McGregor. In at 7 is the sharpshooter Faris Magal. Wearing the 8 jersey, the captain Martin Gale. In at number 12, one of the newcomers, it's Tom Grayling. In at number 13, and wearing the number 13, is Orland Jackman, the Commonwealth Gold medalist. Wearing the number 14 jersey is the ever-reliable Zach Powell. Wearing the number 16 is young gun Larry Duru. And last, but by no means least, he leads the league in blocks. Wearing the number 21 is Luke Okasieme. As for the visitors, well, we had a chat with Paul Cantwell, the head coach, before this game, and it is a little bit of a thin squad compared to what the Northern outfit have seen on road games so far this season. Just the 8 players donning the Dragons shirt tonight. So wearing the number 1 is Ronnie Annie. Wearing the number 2 is Eddie Brownell. Wearing the number 3 jersey is Logan Rooney. Wearing the number 5 is Jack Melkey. I mean, he's had a standout season so far. Wearing the number 7, another sharpshooter, is Andreas Lykoudis. Wearing the number 10, the man who leads the league in rebounds, both defensive and offensive, it's David Ulf. Then wearing the number 23 jersey is Jordan Whelan. And last, but by no means least, wearing the number 93, the Dragons facilitator, the floor general, it is Nick Lewis. So they are your two sides taking to the court tonight. And with regards to the league standings, well, the Dragons currently sit in a very healthy position. After 7 games, they've got 6 wins and just 1 loss, putting them in 2nd place. Now, depending on how things go tonight, they could well and truly be breathing down the necks of the league leaders, the Reading Rockets, who are in action up in Nottingham, taking on the Hoods in one of the earlier starts. A reminder, this is the only 7:30 start this evening, and this one should be an absolute firecracker. Less than 30 seconds to go. It's essentially a prelude to what we'll see in the BCB Cup final. Both of these sides were absolutely spectacular in that competition before the league campaign got underway. And this is a nice dress rehearsal for that, of course. Points up for grabs. The Rockets need them. They've only played 5 matches, 3 wins, 2 losses. They currently sit in 9th place in the British Championship basketball table. So the two sides just getting ready then for what should be a very entertaining and exciting evening of basketball, and we thank you for your company here on the YouTube live stream. So just taking a look at the Dragons starting 5. They've got Logan Rooney, Jack Melkey, Jordan Whelan, David Ulf, and entering the courts, well, here's the aforementioned facilitator. It is the veteran Nick Don band. As for the Rockets, we are just waiting confirmation, but I don't think there'll be too many changes compared to what we usually see from Charles Smith. Likes that backcourt pairing of Lucas McGregor. He's really taken that point guard responsibility very, very well so far this campaign. And alongside him will be Faris Magal. So that is a very, very nice backcourt. Magal, of course, one of the dead-eye shooters in this Rocket side. Then the front courts, well, that consists of the tantalising trio of Ron Blaine, Eric Donaldson and Luke Okasieme. So it is the Rockets in red, the Dragons in green. Let's see how this one will pan out. First quarter action coming up imminently. So it's Ulf versus Okasieme, and it is the Dragons who win the opening tip-off. So the Dragons attacking from right to left on your screen, the Rockets attacking from left to right. And here is Nick Lewis taking on Lucas McGregor early doors. Lovely pass inside towards David Ulf, under pressure from Okasieme. And the Dragons centre gets the first points of the evening. It's the Dragons who lead this one by 2 points to 0. And that is going to be a crucial matchup this evening. The battle of the big men as McGarl gets blocked by Lewis. Brilliant defensive work early doors there from the Yorkshire playmaker. And it does go for a Rockets inbound. It will be Eric Donaldson who will receive this one shortly. We're just going back to that battle of the centres. Okasieme, 16 blocks in 5 matches, leads the league in that metric. As for David Ulf, well, he's already in 3 figures when it comes to rebounds this season. And a foul has been called in the middle there. A little bit of interference called there against the Dragons. So that is a first personal foul of the game. Goes against the number 3 of Logan Rooney. Here's McGregor driving towards the baskets. And he gets the Rockets account up and running. Lucas McGregor, already mentioned it, he's having quite the season. Really taking on that point guard responsibility quite excellently. As Nick Lewis answers back with a layup of his own. Fast break opportunity potentially for the Rockets, but the Dragons get back on their defensive duties in a flash. McGregor out to Donaldson, pump fakes his man, pulls up from the mid-range and drains it delightfully. Eric Donaldson, well, he gets his points tally up and running as well. 4 points plays 4, make that 4 points play 7. Jack Melkey splashes in from beyond the 3-point line. Really should be thoroughly entertaining and lively fixture this. Two sides who would love the points for different reasons as Donaldson pulls up again and rebounded by David Ulf. I don't think that'll be the last time I say those words this evening as Melkey pulls up again and he's met by Blaine. Back out now to Whelan, uncontested. And Logan Rooney almost gets there ahead of Okasieme, but the Rockets centre gets it on the second time of asking. Allows for Ron Blaine to kick it into the corner. Faris Magala is with the shot. And board claimed by Nick Lewis. Whelan now on the fast break. Runs into Donaldson. And the call goes against the visitors. I've already spoken about the importance of Luke Okasieme tonight. He has got to keep David Ulf as quiet as possible. You know, Ulf is on a tear at the minute when it comes to both offensive and defensive boards. Averaging 14 rebounds a game as the finger roll from Blaine is unsuccessful. 2-on-2 coming up here. Whelan to the baskets. However, a foul has been called in there. Called this time against the City of Birmingham Rockets. Lucas McGregor, the number 6. The guilty party on that occasion. So this will be an and one opportunity coming up for Jordan Whelan. It's swatted away by Okasieme. Pickpocketed though by Melkey. And the attempted hook shot. Ulf is unsuccessful. Blaine out into the corner. Back now with the former Newcastle man. He too settling into life very nicely in the second. City as McGregor exploding into the paint. He's met by a couple of Yorkshire defenders. The Dragons maintain that healthy 5-point lead. Nice handles here from Nick Lewis. Lewis with the left-handed layup. Difficult shot. Makes it look very easy indeed. So, McGregor at the other end of the courts. Just moving the chess pieces, trying to manufacture that offensive look here for the men in red. Donaldson flirting there with the baseline. Blaine has to take the shot. Buzzer goes. And that is collected by Melky. Here is Logan Rooney. And Rooney with a stylish left-handed layup. Makes it Dragons 13, Rockets 4. Really has been an outstanding start to the season for the northern side as McGall attempts another three. Those early three-point attempts haven't gone here for the Rockets as Rooney airballs that latest three-point attempt, but just going back onto the start to the season that the Dragons have had, unbeaten at home across competitions. And even though they have got a rather thin looking squad tonight, just the 8 personnel available for Paul Cantwell, they are still a very well drilled and organised side as Donaldson, well, there's the first three of the evening for the COB Rockets. Much to the delight of this increasingly vocal home crowd. Decent attendance here tonight at Nechells as Melky's attempted three. He's also unsuccessful. Just allows for the Rockets to reorganise, regather. Try and cut into that deficit even more. Currently stands at 6 points. Here is Faris McGall. Kicks it back now to Ron Blaine. Blaine a little bit too much on that one, but great hustle there from Okasieme. And McGregor on the pump fake has been called for the travel, so hands the ball back over to the men in green. But Ron Blaine, he's had quite a good season so far. Of course, an experienced campaigner, was playing for the Newcastle Knights last season, shooting at over 60% from the floor so far this campaign. It's the second best figure in the league as Luke Okasieme blocks off, shuts down the shooting lane. And a kickball violation has been called in there, so this will remain in the hands of the Yorkshire Dragons, but there is the presence of Luke Okasieme. Floated layup attempted by Logan Rooney, and Okasieme getting his body in the mix there as well. Allows for the counter-attack to materialise here for Charles Smith's side. McGregor with a little bit of space, winds up for the three. Can't quite cash it in. So score remains Rockets 7, Dragons 13. It's Nick Lewis showcasing those handles again, but he's had the ball stolen away. Here is McGregor on the fast break. Euro step is attempted. And the foul has been called there against the visitors. Third foul of the quarter here against the Yorkshire Dragons, and the first of the evening called against the number 5 of Jack Melky. So, 2 free throws coming up here for Lucas McGregor. Zach Powell checks in for Faris McGall. First one from McGregor. Cannons off the back there of the iron. Second one from McGregor trickles in. It's the 8th point of the evening for the home side. Nick Lewis spins past Zach Powell. Also means the defensive rotation has switched there. Powell now having to go on to Jordan Whelan. Whelan pulls up for the 3. And eventually the shot attempt is corralled by Ron Blaine. Blaine puts on the jets, driving hard to the baskets. And the Blaine train gets 2 more points to add to his tally. Nice response there from Jordan Whelan. Cancels out the 2-point layup with one of his own. Zach Powell. Well, he answers back. Brilliant passage of play this from both sides. Rockets have cut that deficit to 3. It's Nick Lewis. Slightly undercooks that latest effort from beyond the line. And the officials have spotted something there. Will be called against the Dragons, so already a 4th personal foul called against the men in green. Reminder for those who are new to the sport, 1 more of those in this quarter means the Rockets go straight to the free throw line, and that has sparked a change in personnel from Paul Cantwell as Andreas Lykoudis checks in for Jordan Whelan. Lovely handles there from Zach Powell. Powell gets blocked. However, that attempt deemed unlawful by the officials. So this will be 2 free throws coming up for Zach Powell. And another change coming up here for the northern side. Jack Melky checks out. And for the first time tonight, we're going to see the number 1 of Ronnie Annie. Powell, first one, splashes. Martin Gale also coming in for the Rockets. The ever dependable captain of this side. So Powell goes 2 for 2. And Orlan Jackman now comes in for Luke Okasieme. So Charles Smith making a few changes. Lewis has that pinched away and finished off by Zach Powell. Great heads-up play from the general. The Rockets now lead this game for the first time. Lykoudis wide open. And well, he is a dead-eye shooter from 3-point range. Cashes in from downtown. And that lead lasted mere seconds. It's the Dragons in front now on 18 points to 16. Here is Orlan Jackman. Less than 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Blaine has to take this, and he makes it. Really nice work there from the veteran. We are now back at even Stevens as Lewis, deep 3. Well, the Dragons seem to have an answer for absolutely everything that the Rockets are throwing at them so far. Annie, great defensive hustle there. Nice pass up towards Rooney. And Rooney this time, the old shake and bake on the right hand, gets that one in. Lead stretches back to 5 points once more. Dragons 23, Rockets 18. Nice pass inside to Donaldson. Donaldson gets denied by Annie. And now the Dragons on the fast break again. Lovely ball movements and an even better finish from David Ulf, putting the exclamation mark on that one. Real energetic burst here from the Dragons, breathing nothing but pure flames in this first quarter. How does Donaldson respond? Well, he gives it to Jackman. Jackman weaving his way through. Just pings it off the glass for 2 points. So, final minute here in quarter number 1. It's Lewis versus Powell. That's going to be a great matchup tonight. The foul has been called in there. Called for think a hold in there in the end. Indeed it was. This will remain in the possession of the Dragons. One more change here for the visitors. Eddie Brownell checks into the game for the first time. Ulf out wide to Annie. Annie with time, space and the make. Dragons lead by 8. So Powell to Blaine. Those two have linked up incredibly nicely all season long. Really developing nice chemistry between the front court and the back court. Blaine now posts up. Tries a layup attempt of his own. Rebounded by Yorkshire. So final 5 seconds here. Lewis has to take the shot, contested, but he makes it regardless. And that will signal the end of the opening 10 minutes of this game. A late surge from the Yorkshire Dragons sees the visitors lead this one by 31 points to 20. And while we do have our break in between quarters, just a reminder that the Rockets are back in action right here at the Nechells Wellbeing Centre on Saturday the 13th of December. Hemel Storm, the visitors for that one. Again, always a big clash when the southern side come to town. If you haven't already got your tickets, tickets are still available on the City of Birmingham Rockets website. Of course, for those tuning in on the YouTube live stream, let us know where you're tuning in from. Already seen a bit of support in the chat for the Yorkshire Dragons. And of course, if you're tuning in to watch the home side, the COB Rockets, let us know where you're tuning in from, whether it's in the Midlands or further afield. We really do appreciate your company here on Super Saturday. And the reason why we coin it Super Saturday, of course, well, there's plenty of action in the BCB tonight. We have already got, well, at least one result, just looking at it, and we'll go through those scores on the doors in the other fixtures now. So we'll take you first and foremost to East Anglia, where the Newcastle Knights lead the Essex Rebels by 70 points to 65, heading into the fourth and final quarter. Then in the East Midlands, a game which will very much be in the back of the minds of the Dragons. The league leaders, the Reading Rockets, currently in front in that game as well. They are 49 points to the good against the Nottingham Hoods 36. As for the game in Hemel Hempstead, well, the Storm have a very comfortable lead against the Bristol Flyers too. Storm lead that one by 67 points to 38. And of course, those results have already taken place today. Well, the Loughborough Riders beat the Milton Keynes Breakers by 105 points to 81. And last, but by no means least, in the game taking place between the Bristol Hurricanes and the London Cavaliers. Well, it was the Cavs who won that one by 1 point. 70 beat 69. Of course, our attention firmly on the action here at Nechells Wellbeing Centre. Rockets have got plenty of work to do. They came back against the Rebels, forced a tight game in the end as Gale pulls up for 3, rebounded excellently by Blaine. Blaine, on the second time of asking, gets inside. So, foul called there against Andreas Lykoudis, the number 7. Means the baseline inbound comes up here for the Rockets. Again, Rockets maintaining possession here. Will be a duo of free throws coming up for Zach Powell. Really is one of the key assets to this Rockets outfit. Led them in scoring. Always up there with regards to assist numbers and steals as well. He will have a prominent role to play if the Rockets are to make it through to the playoffs. And he sinks both of them. So lead for the Dragons back into single figures for the time being. This offence really has been working very efficiently indeed, as a foul called there against the Rockets. David Orff just walking off a little bit gingerly then, but all seems to be okay. So inbound coming up here for the Dragons as Eric Donaldson comes back onto the floor in place of Zach Powell. Here is Ronnie Annie. Dishes that one out to Lewis. Lovely change of pace here from the Dragons. Moving the ball around very smoothly indeed. And Ulf, well, he tries a little tip back. That one to no avail. Collected by Ron Blaine. Blaine out wide to McGregor. Jackman now just directing traffic. 3-point attempted by Martin Gale. And gathered once more by a green shirt. Back now with Eddie Brownell. Lykoudis from the wing. That one airballed straight into the awaiting palms of the aforementioned Blaine. Home side just happy to bide their time here. Lovely cut to the basket there from Eric Donaldson. Well picked up. Nice vision there from Orland Jackman. This will just settle the nerves a little bit for the Rockets. Lewis again looking for a deep three from downtown. Allows the Rockets to come forward on the counter. Jackman lays that one off to McGregor. Goes out of bounds. In favour of the Rockets. Two more changes here for the Dragons. As Whelan and Rooney come back on in place of Lykoudis and Brownell. Deep pass there to Jackman. Jackman, lovely change of speed. A silky smooth layup, just rolls it delicately off the fingers to make it Rockets 26, Dragons 31. Here's Rooney on the left wing. Rooney towards Annie. Annie now with the change of direction. Lewis, no look pass to Rooney. Rooney off the front of the rim. Here's Blaine, fast break chance here for the Rockets. Ronald Blaine this time. A little bit too much on the attempted layup. Allows for the fast break here. It's a 3-on-1. And Gale in the ends. Trying to block Whelan. Commits the foul. Second one of the quarter for the hosts. Will also mean a couple of free throws coming up here for Jordan Whelan. Harris McGall also replacing Ron Blaine. First one from Whelan. Connects with nothing but net. And Whelan has already had a couple of big performances this season. Think about that 25-point evening against the Worthing Thunder. Scored 19 points against the Bristol Flyers too. Of course, he comes from fine basketball stock, doesn't he? His dad being a basketball coach, his mum a Cameroon international. And of course, there's his brother, who plays internationally for Great Britain. It's McGregor that time on the layup. Can't quite cash in. Annie gets his own rebound in the end. He's under plenty of duress there from a couple of Rockets players, McGall and Donaldson in the immediate vicinity. Yorkshire do keep hold of the rock. Annie this time fighting through contact. I must say I'm liking what I'm seeing from Ronnie Annie this season. Just going back to that game, Bristol Flyers 2 against the Dragons. Not only did he have 15 points, but 5 steals as well. Very dynamic player is Ronnie Annie. Drives very adeptly to the basket. He's got that variation. He's happy to pull up from the mid-range as well. And one of the things on the Manchester Magic Academy was his defensive heart and hustle. Something that really, really stood out game in, game out. So, Dragons back in the lead by 9. What can the Rockets do? Just to open up that window. Set something up for the third quarter. It's where the men in red have been strong this season. And talking of strong plays, Eric Donaldson muscling his way to the baskets. Gets the second chance opportunity. Rockets inch closer now to where the Dragons lie. Well, we have just got a little bit of a stoppage here, just to mop up some of the moisture on the courts. Marcus is watching from Phoenix, Arizona. Wow, fair play to you, Marcus. We hope that you're enjoying this game. Of course, I extend that to all of you tuning in to the live stream this evening for what should be a brilliant game of basketball. Two top quality sides, two sides who will play against each other in the grand finale of the inaugural BCB Cup in early 2026. Well, in the league as well, both sides have been in decent form as Gale just agonisingly puts that one out of bounds, makes the circus shot. But unfortunately for the home fans, that one won't count because he had stepped out of bounds. So, Dragons possession it will be. Kicked into Whelan in the corner. Tries to post up there against Orland Jackman. Bounces it inside to Annie. And David Ulf on the putback. Getting those second chance opportunities, making them count. Takes the Dragons up to their 37th point of the game. Gale now answers back with a bounce pass of his own. Can he connect the three? No, he can't. Nice spin move there from Nick Lewis. Lewis now going forward on the fast break. Kicks it to Rooney. Rebounded by Ulf. And easy as you like there from the Dragons centre. Extends that lead now into double figures. Unsurprisingly, brings about the first timeout of the game as well. Charles Smith just looking to provide a little bit of calm amidst the chaos. But just to break down these numbers from David Ulf so far this season, right, he's averaging 14.4 rebounds a game, which is unsurprisingly the most in the entire league. But then you look at the offensive numbers. Before this game, had 44 offensive rebounds. Again, the most in the league. Then you look at the defensive rebounds. He had 57 of them. And, well, there's no prizes for guessing where that puts him in the league standings. He is top in that metric as well. He leads in every single rebound statistic across the championship. He is an absolute nightmare. He's very busy, he's very active, he's someone who likes to slip off his man and get into those strong rebounding positions. And the Rockets, well, they need to keep him quiet. That in itself is an awful lot easier said than done. He's also been very proficient in and around the basket itself. He's no slouch when it comes to his scoring. But Ulf's real strong point is getting those second chances. It's allowing for the likes of Lewis and Whelan, Corey Johnson, who isn't playing tonight, but guys like that to bring them back into the game, create those additional chances. So 5 minutes and 35 seconds remain on the clock here in the first half. Rockets have some work to do. But Then again, I go back to that last game. Yes, they lost against the Rebels, but they came back from 13 points down in the third quarter. This game, far from over. Donaldson back to McGregor, this time on the right wing. No screens being set as of yet there for McGregor, slightly isolated. Time ticking down on the shot clock as Powell lays it in quite lavishly in the end. I mean, Zach Powell, one of the finest scorers in the league, showcasing his skills and talent right there. Now he's got some defensive duties as Ulf lays the screen, trying to get the pick and roll going. Bounce back inside to Ulf. Ulf back to Rooney. Rooney in the corner. And it hits the nets, but doesn't go in. So, ball handed back to the men in red. McGregor here just assessing the options that he's got. Plenty of scoring avenues, one of which is Donaldson. Powell, Okasieme if he gets into the paint. Rockets opt to go towards Donaldson. But that pass, a little bit too hot to handle. Spoke about Jordan Whelan earlier on. His fine basketball heritage. Well, of course, with Eric Donaldson, he's the son of one of the absolute titans of British basketball, the great Dip Donaldson. Of course, he's been doing stuff out in Colorado as part of Dip's academy as well. And he has turned into an instantaneous fan favourite in the second city. Just has a tremendous attitude. Has real basketball IQ as well, and I say that on both sides of the floor. He's someone who's got very active hands, gets those steals. He can also be an out-and-out scorer as well as a playmaker, and he almost has that one stolen away. And there will be a jump ball coming up here in Rockets territory. Well, the call initially was for the jump ball. Change this time to an inbound. Lewis, almost NFL quarterback style, flings that one into the corner. Melky, what a shot that is. My word, that is a fantastic three from the left wing. Here is Donaldson. Melky on the defensive rotation this time. Powell looks to peel off of Nick Lewis. And he was impeded there by the Dragons defender. Blaine into Powell. Powell on the fake. That might go in the end. I don't think that was the shot that Okasieme intended. But it's not about how you score them. It's about scoring them in the first place. 2 more points to add to the Rockets tally. Moves the home side on to 32. Dragons currently on 42. Lewis under all sort of strain. In the end, that one has been given away. So this one will be brought back to Lucas McGregor. 3 minutes and 18 seconds remain in the first half. The first task at hand here for the men in red, just eat into that deficit as much as you can. They are a side who've got plenty of scoring assets, and Zach Powell right on cue with the jump shot. Drains that one straight in. It's now an 8-point game. Lewis being guarded intently there by McGregor, stolen by Okasieme. And now the Rockets will surge into Dragons territory. It's Blaine. Blaine into the corner. Donaldson for 3. Delectable ball movement there from the City of Birmingham Rockets, turning defence into attack within a matter of moments. and finished off by Eric Donaldson in fine fashion. Well, brings it down to a 5-point game. It's Rockets 37, Dragons 42. And for those watching on, enjoying the action, if you are in the Midlands on Saturday the 13th of December, come and join us in person right here at the Nechells Wellbeing Centre. Hemel Storm are the visitors for that one. Again, another top-notch side with some incredible players. We are looking forward to that one, the last home match of the calendar year. Of course, still plenty of action in the wider 2025-26 campaign. But that one should be an absolute doozy. Just looking in the YouTube comments as well. Kalkan tuning in from Istanbul in Turkey. Ruben tuning in from Florida. Great to have your company, folks. The numbers on the YouTube stream looking very healthy indeed. If you have got some mates who you want to invite, just tell them that we are live streaming this one. We are the 7:30 tip-off, the only one in the championship tonight. Let's get those figures up even higher as the night progresses. But at the end of this quarter, we'll give you the score update from the other games. Just looking at the Hemel Storm. Well, they lead the Bristol Flyers too by 82 points to 50 down in Hemel Hempstead. The rest of the scores I'll bring you in due course. So Rockets again going man-to-man here with Zach Powell. Whelan spins his man, tries to dish it off to Brownell. And Okasieme there, slightly frustrated, trying to get the big mitts on the ball. Just couldn't quite bring it under control on that occasion. Rooney, batter like Kudis, slightly wayward with the effort. Could see that very nicely from the angle here in the comms position. Just shot it a little bit too left as Blaine driving through contacts. And Jack Melky did impede the Rockets forward on that occasion. So 2 free throws coming up here for the City of Birmingham Rockets. The first one from Blaine. Cannons off the front of the rim. Makes absolutely no mistake with the second one though. Now it's a 4-point game. It's been a nice stretch here for the hosts. Appears to have been a good timeout called by Coach Smith, and that's a lovely pass inside to Melky. Dragons lead by 44 points to 38. Final 2 minutes in this, the second quarter. Alan Jackman getting ready to come back into the action. Just waiting to see who'll be brought on for. Coach Smith there having a word with Ronald Blaine. And Jackman won't check in just yet. It's Okasieme, the latest Rocket to go to the line. Makes the first one. Makes it 2 from 2. Nice work there from the Rockets centre. And Jackman will come on in place of Okasieme. A far better scoring quarter this for the COB Rockets compared to some of the previous second quarters here at Nechells. Just getting themselves well and truly back in contention. It's like Kudis is met by a sea of red shirts. Jackman to Blaine. Blaine kicks it out to Powell. Powell for the attempted 3. And David Ulf rising like a salmon. He collects yet another rebound. I'll take you through his numbers at the interval. It's Nick Lewis this time. Well, he's looking for the foul. He has made the layup regardless though. So another 2-point play for the northern side. As we enter the final minute of action in this first half. Powell spins past Lykoudis. And Zach Powell putting on a show here for the home fans. Lewis looking to go past Jackman. From an acute angle, finishes off a languid layup. Here is Donaldson. Donaldson looking to involve Jackman. Jackman slightly unsighted there. Can't quite bring it back into the awaiting palms. So, another timeout, this time taken by the Yorkshire Dragons. 34.4 seconds still left on the clock. And while we have got around about 40 seconds or so just to go through those numbers for David Ulf, well, he's well on track to meet his season average so far. He's already got 7 rebounds in this first half, 8 points as well. Nick Lewis, he's been a standout with 12 points of his own. Lykoudis chipping in with 3, Jack Melky with 8. Then, of course, Ronnie Annie getting that 3 and a couple of free throws to boot. He's on 5 points. As for the Rockets, well, Zach Powell, unsurprisingly, the leading point scorer. 14 points for the General, shooting 83% from the floor. He's cashed in 5 from his first 6 attempts on the evening. Eric Donaldson as well, he's shooting 62% from the field. He's got 12 points to his name, as well as 2 rebounds. And then Ron Blaine has 5. Okasieme and Jackman with 4 points apiece. And Luke McGregor with the other 3. So, a big end to the half coming up here. Yorkshire look to bring up their half century. The foul has been called there beyond the 3-point line. So that is the 5th team foul for the Rockets. Just looking at the signal there, that actually may have been just inside the line. So this will just be 2 free throws coming up for the men in green. And Nick Lewis continues on his merry way. I mean, what a pickup he has been for Yorkshire this season. It's a very different looking side compared to last year. And their fortunes have certainly changed as a result. So there is the half century for Yorkshire. It's the Dragons who lead this one by 8. Final 20 seconds. Rockets won't have possession for all of that. Great pass inside though from Zach Powell, and finished off expertly by Ron Blaine. So this will be the last attacking possession of the first half. The decibels increasing as the seconds tick away. Melky has to pull up. He gets blocked by Powell, and that will signal the end of that for the second quarter. A pulsating start to this game sees the Rockets the Rockets trail this one by 6 points. It's the Dragons who lead by 50 points to 44. Well, all things considered, the Rockets have done well there just to chip away, point by point, make by make. Still have plenty of work to do though to get back into this game, and I'll take you through the scores on the doors from the other matches taking place in the BCB tonight. Already spoken about those 2 previous results concerning the likes of the Bristol Hurricanes and the Loughborough Riders. In the game down in Essex, it's the Rebels who now lead that one by 89 points to 88. There's 6 seconds on the clock in Colchester. So that one could be finished very quickly indeed. As for the game taking place at the Harvey Haddon Sports Village, well, the Reading Rockets are in complete and utter control away against the Nottingham Hoods. The Rockets lead that one by 77 points to 48. Of course, here at the Neachall's Wellbeing Centre, it's the Dragons who've got their noses in front by 50 points to 44. And last but by no means least in the game between the Hemel Storm and the Bristol Flyers too, it's the Storm who are well on their way to securing yet another victory in the league campaign. The home side heading that one rather emphatically by a scoreline of 91 points to 62. So we'll take a short break here on the Rockets YouTube channel of around about 10 minutes or so, and when we return we'll build up the action as the Rockets look to force their way back into this game. Final reminder of the score at the half. It's Dragons 50, COB Rockets 44. A very warm welcome back to the Nechells Wellbeing Centre, where we are less than 2 minutes away from the restart of this British Championship basketball encounter between the City of Birmingham Rockets and the Yorkshire Dragons, brought to you live on the COB Rockets YouTube channel. My name is Aaron Viles, so I'll continue to be your commentator for the second half of action. A reminder for those who may be tuning in a little bit late, it is the Dragons who have their noses in front in this one by a scoreline of 50 points to 44. Nick Lewis and David Ulf doing most of the damage for the visiting side, with Eric Donaldson and Zach Powell providing the lion's share of the point scoring for the men in red. Just looking along as well in the YouTube chats, a very good evening to the likes of Paul and Simon and GOD3. Paul watching along from sunny Stockport. Imagine it's not too sunny at this time of evening, of course, these British winters. The day's ever so short, but great to have your company for tonight, Paul. GOD3 watching along from the Costa del Wensbury. Always like to see some Midlands connections in the YouTube chats. And of course, Simon tuning in from Olicana, which I believe, from memory, at least from my times up to Yorkshire, I think is towards Ilkley way, if it is what I'm thinking of. But do let me know, Simon, if I have massively missed the mark. But we are less than 30 seconds away then from the start of quarter number 3. The Dragons already out on the floor with the 5 of Nick Lewis, Ronnie Annie, Logan Rooney, Jack Melkey and David Ulf. I mean, David Ulf has been an absolute nightmare for the Rockets to try and handle. Has already got 7 rebounds, 5 of which are defensive, 2 on the offensive glass as well. Of course, already spoken about Nick Lewis, 16 points in the first half, shooting 75% from the floor. So it will be the Rockets then to get us back underway, and it will be inbounded here by Eric Donaldson. What can the men in red concoct to get back into this fixture? Well, McGall attempts a quick fire 3, somewhat snaps the attempted shots, allows for the rebounded to be gathered by the men in green. Here comes Nick Lewis, kicks it out now to Melkey. Melkey for 3. And another excellently worked shot there from the visiting side. If I was to describe their offence in that first half, it would be fluid. It's very dynamic. Plenty of players getting their hands on the basketball as the Rockets now kick it into the corner. McGregor, under all sorts of pressure, just rolls it in off the fingers. And the Rockets now inching closer. 46 points, plays 53. Lewis now forced into the corner, gives it to Annie. Annie through contact. And he has drawn the foul for good measure. So it is the Manchester Magic Academy graduate here, Ronnie Annie, who goes to the line. He was successful with both of his previous attempts in this match. And that is a classic case of the commentator's curse, because he's just missed his first one of the night. But he has got a second bite of the cherry coming up here. So, Annie it is, and he makes it. It is second time the charm for the Dragons. Brings it back now to an 8-point game as McGregor being guarded with great intent there by Logan Rooney. Atmosphere just increases here as Okasieme throws down the sledgehammer. Great to see those vicious dunks in the locker. Here is Lewis. Nice pick and pop game being played between him and David Ulf as Rooney bounces it inside to the starting centre, ripped away though by Donaldson. And now the Rockets streaming forward, left-handed layup by McGall. And there's the 50 for the men in red. 4-point game, deficit has been halved. Lewis for the attempted 3, collected by Donaldson. Donaldson now puts on the Jets. but he can't quite make it. McGregor tries to fish it back into his control, but to no avail. Melky onto the left wing, nice bounce pass to Ulf. Back now to Lewis. This is a little bit of a mismatch here. Okasieme, the centre, guarding the guard, and Blaine gets his hand on that one. Here's Ron Blaine on the fast break. Taken down rather unceremoniously, and that will be free throws coming up here for the home side. What a block that was from Ron Blaine. But intriguing there, the defensive matchup. Okasieme not peeling away to David Ulf, was instead having to go against the point guard. But in the end, it has worked. Now there's a chance to eat into that deficit even further. That first free throw from Blaine makes a lovely noise as he nestles against the net. And Blaine makes it 2 from 2. It's a 2-point game, and this is similar to what we've seen throughout the season so far. I don't know what it is about Charles Smith's half-time talks, but they certainly tend to have the desired impact. Ulf almost giving that one away, playing a little bit of hot potato. Lewis back in control, and McGregor has impeded him. So that will be a third personal foul of the evening called against Lucas McGregor. Second of the quarter called against the home side. Smith does have options on the bench, of course, one of which is Phil Basiudis. Haven't seen any of Larry Duru here this evening as of yet either. Annie for 3. Ronnie Annie, he's had a fantastic start to this second half, making his presence felt and having that desired impact. Really is someone to watch out for. Stands at 6'2". You can see him here all over Donaldson like a rash. Certainly a hot prospect up in the north of the country. Blaine wayward with the attempted 3. Melky keeps his composure, allows now for the fast break. Here is David Ulf. Ulf looking there for the foul. Won't be given. Here is Blaine. Blaine against Melky. Another difficult shot, and Donaldson with the hustle makes the play. Invaluable putback that for the Rockets. Into the corner now. It's another 3. This time for Jack Melky. Of course, went to the University of Southern Indiana. Another one of the newcomers for Paul Campwell's men in 2025. McGregor out to Blaine. Blaine back to Donaldson. Donaldson thinks about taking the 3. Instead spins around, almost makes it. And Okasieme with the rebound. Back now with Blaine. Blaine inside to Okasieme. The Rockets centre, when they had a quiet first half, did have that monster block. But he's now starting to find a little bit of his groove. And he will have a major role to play, especially on the defensive side. Lewis now trains his latest jump shot, this one for 3. 7 points separating the two sides. Here's McGregor, dishes it out to Donaldson. Donaldson, uncontested 3. McGregor almost rips that one out of the hands of Lewis. Instead, numbers streaming forward here for the men in green. And it is Logan Rooney with the left hands who rolls that one in. Almost reminiscent of a boxing match, this one at times. Rockets throwing a few jabs, looking for those opportunities to get back into the lead. Haven't seen much of that in this game as of yet, as McGregor can't quite make the 3, but every single jab is being met by a right and a left hook, most of which coming from this man, Nick Lewis. Lewis slings that inside to Melky. And Melky is pushed in the back there. I think that'll be called against Luke Okasieme. And indeed it will be. First foul of the evening called against the Rockets starting centre. Faris McGarr getting ready to check back in. And the first one from Melky rolls away. Second one is good though. That lead now back to double digits. McGregor to Zach Powell. Powell looks to spin his man, passes inside to Okasieme. That would have been a very, very good make. And Donaldson again. Well, he has been a real thorn in the side of the Dragons underneath the baskets. But that one bounced forward to Annie. Annie can't quite make the attempt with the right hand. Remains in the hands of the men in green though. Melky making the cut to the basket, instead goes back now to Ulf, and Whelan and almost goes out of bounds. Wasn't the desired passage of play that the Dragons drew up, but the final outcome remains the same. 2 more points. And this now is entering slightly dangerous territory for the Rockets. Blaine has to try and put up the 3. A Hail Mary up to Whelan. Has found its target. Here is Whelan being double teamed. Looks to find Annie on the opposite side. Beautiful pass towards Jack Melky. And Melky with the latest make beyond the line. Sparks a timeout here for the COB Rockets. So, that fast start to the second half has just been cancelled out by the last couple of minutes. Yorkshire starting to flex the metaphorical muscles in this game. I mean, for those who maybe aren't quite familiar with how Yorkshire have done so far this season, they've played 2 more matches than the Rockets. And well, they've won 6 of those 7 encounters. The only loss coming away against the Worthing Thunder, who again are a much improved side. This is a difficult league this season. There'll be times where, of course, you have off nights, but you can't afford that against any side in this division. From top to bottom, plenty of talent is on display. And well, we're seeing that here with the Yorkshire Dragons. Just a little bit of a points update for Jack Melky. Well, he had 5 in the first couple. He's now got 18, shooting 66% from the floor. 71% from 3. He's made 5 of his 7 attempts. Rockets, meanwhile, just looking for a way to stop the Rock, catalyse something. Bring themselves back within touching distance. 15 points is quite the deficit to trail by. But you never know in this game. And it pains me to say this as a fan of GB, but we saw that the other night against Lithuania. Those crazy scenes. There's Powell, kicks it out onto the right wing. Jackman inside to Donaldson. Donaldson, well, his effort attempted to be put back there by Jackman. That one to no avail as far as the Rockets are concerned. This latest shot in the corner bounces straight back into the palms of the awaiting men in red. Here's Powell. Powell looking to change direction. Blaine now almost has it ripped away from him. Passes out to Jackman. Powell in the corner. And Powell makes the three. The general leading by example. Marshalling his troops. Can he be the spark to ignite the powder keg for the COB Rockets? Here is Annie to Melky. Goes out onto Whelan on the wing. North now, shakes past his man. Annie is met there on the attempted block. I think it was Martin Gale. And this will be more free throws coming up. Confirmation that foul was against Martin Gale. His second of the game. Rockets' fourth of the quarter. You can see there the leadership group, the think tank of the home side, just deep in discussion. Donaldson, Jackman, Blaine, Powell and Gale. Rather intense in their discussion there. The latest free throw from Ronnie Annie is successful. So is the second. So 14 points between the two sides. Powell weaving his way through. What a play that is. The spinner Rooney from Zach Powell produces the and one opportunity. And I imagine that he will almost be the key piece now. The cog in the machine. Sees the Rockets try and get back into this one. Does make it a three-point play. Here is Nick Lewis. Lewis slings that to Ulf. Ulf out towards Annie in the corner. And Ulf just vacuums it back up. Lewis with the attempted deep three. Gathered by Jackman. Here comes Ron Blaine. Blaine through contact. And the call there goes against the Yorkshire Dragons. So these plays will help. Little by little. Rockets just need to get themselves back within, I'd say, around about 6 to 8 points. If they can do that by the end of this quarter, they're still in with a chance. Back now, beyond the three-point line, it's Gale. Gale attempted three. Comes off the front of the iron. So that latest shot is no good for the men in red. And it will be Yorkshire possession. So Lewis now rather ominously bringing the ball forward. 10-point game. Now with Annie. Annie underarms that into the right corner. Jordan Whelan was awaiting. Whelan now towards Melky. And flying forward is David Ulf once more. Getting airborne and getting the points for the Northern outfit. Powell now has that one stripped away from his palms. Melky bounce pass to Whelan. Whelan, well, his shot was a little bit wayward, but David Ulf, well, he continues to go through the motions. Here now is Eric Donaldson. Donaldson back to Jackman. Jackman to McGregor. McGregor tries there to connect beyond the arc. I think there was a push in there, so this one will be brought back. Indeed it will be. Baseline inbound here for Martin Gale and the home side. Powell now, the latest to pull up, and that is a 3-point play. So, final 20 seconds here in quarter number 3. Paul Cantwell, the Dragons head coach, very animated. Just wants his side to guarantee that they've got the last shot here of the quarter. Here is Nick Lewis, he's only got 2 seconds, driving towards the basket, shot goes up, and it's no good. So that will bring about the ends of the third quarter. Dragons lead this one by 11 points. It's Yorkshire on 77 with the City of Birmingham Rockets on 66. So, by my mathematics, the Dragons there have scored 27 points in that quarter compared to 22 of the Rockets. So that 6-point lead at the half now stretches even further. Work to be done. It's not exactly Mount Everest at this point for the Rockets, but it's upgraded from the Lickey Hills to probably Scarfield, Pike or Snowdon at this stage. They have got quite the mount to climb. Strange things do happen in this sport, and look, you can never ever rest on your laurels. A couple of 3-point plays and this is a fight game. The Rockets are well and truly back in contention to take away the points. Just looking at the body language as well, the shoulders don't seem to be slumped. Very animated are the likes of Zach Powell and Martin Gale in that huddle on the far side. As for the Dragons, well, again, they are the first ones to re-enter the court of play. Reminder as well, for those who maybe have tuned into the YouTube live stream a little bit later, Yorkshire tonight have only got 8 players here in Birmingham. So Corey Johnson unavailable for this fixture. And as a result, that starting 5 has had to play an awful lot of minutes. But so far, they seem indefatigable, especially David Ulf. Also good to see some additional minutes for the young gun Ronnie Annie. And the Rockets now re-enter the courts. Will be Dragons though to restart things here in the 4th and final quarter. And immediately that one bounced back to Nick Lewis. Here we go then for the final 10 minutes of regulation. And Lewis straight away put under pressure, and that is a backcourt violation. Nice coverage there from Ron Blaine, utilising that nous-and wisdom that is accumulated over the course of a glittering career in professional basketball. He'll get the ball straight back here from Lucas McGregor. Gale inside to Blaine. Tipped away by Powell. Now with Jackman from the wing, and all, and Jackman makes it from 3. Back into single figures. Here's the differential between the two sides. Real intensity being shown here on the defensive side of things from the home side, and there is another steal right on cue. McGregor surges forward down the left channel, gives it out to Blaine. Blaine with time and space. Unsuccessful for 3. Melky almost pickpocketed there by the lurking Zach Powell. Shouts of defence ring around the Neatshaws Wellbeing Centre. Healthy crowd in here tonight. Good to see the support for the championship as Jack Melky, well, by my maths, he now moves into the 20s for the night. Scored at least a quarter of Yorkshire's points in this game. And he has got the hot hand from beyond the arc. Here is Jackman. Hasn't got too long on the shot clock. Goes back now to Zach Powell. Imagine he'll pull up from the mid-range. Instead goes back to McGregor. McGregor with the shot attempt. Can Gale get there? Well, he does in the end, but he's adjudged to have impeded Logan Rooney. So a third foul of the game called against the Rockets captain. You can see the sets, though, being played here by the Rockets. They are looking to put the Dragons under duress every single play. Saw a little bit more zone coverage earlier on. Well, this is very much man-to-man. Annie against Gale. Now back to Lewis. This is a deep three attempted. And Jackman flings himself forward to gather the rebound. Here now is Zach Powell down the left-hand flank. Back now to Jackman. Gale facilitating play. Here's Blaine, spins around, gives it back now to Zach Powell, who almost loses it. Final 5 seconds on the shot clock, has to pull up. That draws the contact as well. Not the worst outcome at all there for the COB Rockets. This will be a trio of free throws for their leading point scorer so far this season. Really is good to see Zach back as well in a Rockets jersey. And he is one of the most hard-working and diligent professionals in this league. And we here on the media team, we get here a couple of hours early. He's always the first one out on the court, working on his jump shot, working on his defensive aspects as well. He really is the dictionary definition of a hard worker. And he deserves all of his success in this great game. Can he make it 3 from 3? Well, yes, he can. Perfection from the line there from Zach Powell. So, Blaine against Lewis. I mean, this is a up for those who will have seen them in the British Basketball League seasons gone by. Here is Ronnie Annie. Gets Gale Roy. And there is a in there against the Jackman taken down. And there will be a change coming up here for visitors. Rooney checks out. Jordan back into the action. See the familiar figure of Eric Donaldson. It's Nick Lewis. Continue to increase his tally for the night. I mean, both him and Melky have been the standouts when it comes to point scoring. And that is a 21st point on the night for Nick Lewis. 21 as well for Melky, with 12 for David Ulf, who not for the first time this season has got a double-double. Powell, awkward bounce there for the Rockets guard. Jackman thinks about setting the screen. There's only 3 seconds left. Powell has to take the shot. And Annie blocks him. Nice denial there from the Dragons guard. Jackman impeding Lewis there. And this will be brought back. Just waiting for confirmation there of the exact foul. Whelan and Lewis making their case there, saying that the latter had just been held back. Instead it will just be an inbound though. Here is Ulf. Blaine almost millimetres away from affecting the steal. Instead, Jackman goes down, and that'll be another foul called against the men in red. Well, that one has been turned over. And Nechells responds accordingly. Also just taking a quick look at the action across the league. Well, goodness me. The game between the Rebels and the Newcastle Knights went to double overtime down in Colchester. And it was the Knights who emerged victorious by 122 points to 118. Donaldson beyond the line, too much mustard on that three. Great steal from Zach Powell, or it would have been, had he not have gone in for the reach. So that is a fifth foul called against the Rockets in the quarter. This will be 2 free throws coming up here for Nick Lewis. Also something very important to mention from a Rocket standpoint, and that is a 4th personal foul against Zach. So, if Powell fouls once more, he will be out of the game. Fouled out with that 5th foul, should that come to fruition. That latest attempt trickles in, and Faris Magal will come in for Zach Powell. Imagine there'll be a play drawn up here for Faris Magal, whether it's from the wing or the corner. Heading into the final 5 minutes, they know there's a chance, but well, there is a foul called there against Eric Donaldson. There's a meaty connection there against Annie. That'll come straight back to the Dragons. Blaine tries to palm that one away, can't do so. McGregor, though, wins it back, turned over. Here is Orland Jackman, the Rockets power forward, powering his way forward. And Ronald Blaine finishes off there with the double-handed layup. 7-point game, it's Rockets who trail. Dragons lead 84 points to 77. Will there be an opening? Will it be Magal? Would it be Donaldson? Brilliant bounce pass, but Ulf misses, only for it to be stripped away by Nick Lewis. And Lewis with the steal prevents the counter-attack. Really important bit of play there from the veteran. Although the final shots nowhere near the intended target. Final 5 minutes of play at the Nechells Wellbeing Centre. McGregor operating down the right-hand side. Dishes off to Blaine. And Blaine with the 2-point play makes it under a little bit of pressure there. It's a 5-point game now. And this place will get very loud indeed if the Rockets can get a stop here. Melky to Ulf. Back now to Whelan. Whelan driving through but blocked by McGregor. And now here is Faris Magal. It could be a 2-on-1 chance. Faris bounce pass to Blaine. Blaine gets blocked. Out now to the corner. It's Magal. And Magal misses. Big opportunity that for the home side. We'll have to reset and take stock once more. So a foul is called there against the aforementioned Magal. It will be 2 free throws here for Jordan Whelan. Whelan makes the first one with no problem whatsoever. We have also had a result in the East Midlands. The Reading Rockets have defeated the Nottingham Hoods by a scoreline of 101 points to 70 at the Harvey Haddon Sports Village. And last but by no means least, down in Hemel Hempstead, well, it's a very high scoring game. The Storm beating the Flyers 2s by 131 points to 97. Ball agonisingly close to going in there from both McGregor and Donaldson. But luck does not fall in the Rockets' favour. Less than 4 minutes to go. Jackman with the attempted steal. Whelan now, delicate pass out towards his teammate. It's Ronnie Annie. Attempted pass into the corner. And that one trickles out of bounds. So McGall goes to the bench. Zach Powell returns into the mixer. McGregor to Blaine. I mean, Blaine has had a fine night. He now passes out wide to Powell. Powell, will it go? Yes, it will. Precision and perfection from Zach Powell. Makes it a 4-point game. The drums get going. And Nechells just amps up the decibels once more. However, there was a foul in there called by the official on the far side. And this is the point which I've made continuously throughout the broadcast. It feels as though the Dragons, after every punch that's being landed by the Rockets tonight, have just had a response. They're clinging on and then exploding with a variety of scoring options. David Orff makes his first free throw. Can't make the second one though. And Jackman was on that in a flash, read it like a book. Jackman out onto the right wing. Silky smooth handles here from Powell into McGregor. McGregor off the iron. Can Jackman get in there? Well, he can. He disturbs the play. And this will remain in the hands of the City of Birmingham Rockets. 2 minutes and 35 seconds remain in regulation. The door is ajar. Powell gets blocked there. However, it's been called as a foul. So, 3 free throws coming up here for the ever-reliable Rockets guard. Such a crucial component for Charles Smith's men. You could hear a pin drop in this place as the first free throw went up from the Birmingham native. Second one, not quite there. Can he make it a 2-point play? Well, no, he can't. Remains a 4-point game, much to the frustration of the home fans. Well, one more defensive stop makes this very interesting indeed. Against the Dragons side, who have worked tirelessly tonight. Whelan, contested shot, is collected by Jackman, and now there's a 2-on-1 opportunity. Fast pass towards Blaine, and the Blaine train exiting the station at the speed of light there. And he finishes with aplomb. It's a 2-point game. And these now will be a difficult couple of minutes for the Yorkshire Dragons. A reminder, they've only had 8 players at their disposal tonight. They have worked tirelessly. They've worked their socks off from second one in this game. But these final 2 minutes, the Rockets have the luxury of fresher legs. Haven't seen the likes of Larry Duru or Phil Basiudis. I don't think we'll see them at this stage unless it gets down to maybe a 1-point game. They're looking to get that additional size in there with the aforementioned Duru. I'll tell you what, this one really has lived up to the billing. It's been a fine game of basketball. We can only hope that the BCB Cup final lives up to it as well. Both of these sides were electric in that competition. I mean, Yorkshire at home were nothing short of unstoppable. The Rockets as well, defeating Hemel, defeating the Breakers, defeating the Bristol Hurricanes, and then of course in the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, well, they were irresistible, especially on the defensive side of the court. Just looking at the personnel here for the Dragons, plenty of three-point threats, one of which is Jack Melkey. He's just been a revelation for the Dragons. Almost the perfect archetype for what Campwell is looking to manufacture up in the north of the country. Have that versatile and reliable deep shooting deadeye. Here he is on the pass. And that's a difficult make. Powell was all over him. But in the end, the Dragons do come away with the 2 points. Here is Powell to Jackman. Jackman to Blaine. Blaine inside to Jackman. Jackman, can he finish? No, he can't. Under all sorts of pressure, the Rockets are furious. Whelan on the pump fake. And he does successfully decoy Zach Powell. Well, the Rockets still animated. Martin Gale has come back into the action. Donaldson, the other man, making up the quintet here for the side in red. Here is Donaldson on the left-hand side. Donaldson looking to spin away from Melkey. Powell now back to Gale. Beautiful fake there from Gale. And Gale has been fouled. So, 2 free throws on their way here for the Rockets skipper. That is also a 4th foul of the evening against the number 1 of Ronnie Annie. Jordan Whelan also on 4 for the Dragons. And Nick Lewis on 3. First one from Gale. Doesn't go in. Can he make the second one? Yes, he can. 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock. The Dragons will just look to eke away into the final few seconds. Whelan, that's ricocheted off of Donaldson. And that will be an inbound here for Yorkshire. Just looking here at the body language of Melkey, I think this is going to go straight to him. Indeed it is. He called over to the bench. Had that connection there with Cantwell because he's going to take the 3. It's no good. Cannon's off the front. And this will remain Dragons' possession. Gale was onto it. It was desperately unlucky for the Rockets captain. But timeout has now been called by Yorkshire. 43 seconds remain. And as we said earlier, things happen very quickly in the sport of basketball. All it takes is one stop, a quick 3, and a 2-point game suddenly. Looks very, very dicey for the Dragons. On the flip side, of course, 3-point play, whether that's from Melkey or Lewis, you imagine it will be those two who are the danger men. And an 8-point game maybe looks out of reach comes down to 3 or 4 plays when you really boil it down. But we do sincerely hope that you have enjoyed our coverage here on the COB Rockets YouTube channel. Well over 100 of you tuning in. I hope that you have loved every single second of it in what has been a highly entertaining game of basketball in the end. For those in the Midlands, or maybe you fancy a trip down from Yorkshire to the Midlands to watch a bit of basketball, Hemel Storm are the visitors for the final home game of the calendar year. That fixture taking place on Saturday the 13th of December, right here at the Neachor's Wellbeing Centre. Tickets are still available for that one. Well, this right here is the passage of play. These next 10 seconds or so will be pivotal. Plenty of movement there. I think they'll go inside to David Ulf. Rockets looking to get hands on it. Melky is wide open for 3, and that could be the dagger. You could see straight away the body language of the Rockets just slumping there. And Jack Melky, well, I'll tell you what, he is living up to his name as a Yorkshire Dragon, because he is breathing pure fire in the second city tonight. He has been a flamethrower beyond the arc. Unsurprisingly, he is the leading point scorer for the visitors in this game. In this now, he's getting into a very difficult situation for Charles Smith and the City of Birmingham Rockets. 8-point game. Realistically, this has to be a quick draw shot, whether it's a quick corner 3 for someone like Faris McGall or Eric Donaldson. We'll wait and see. But Jack Melky, he's played 31 minutes in this game. I imagine he'll play the final 37 seconds on the clock as well. But, well, he's almost got a double-double. He's got 9 rebounds as well. What a night it's been for the American. Shooting 63% from three-point land. 7 of his 11 have hit nothing but nets. He's also got 3 assists. So, let's see what the Rockets will do. Just looking at the personnel here. McGall isn't on the floor, so imagine this play will be drawn up for either Zach Powell or Eric Donaldson. Of course, there are 3-point shooters in Gale and Jackman. I think this will be coming here to these two. Donaldson looking to spin past Lewis, goes inside, laid in by Ron Blaine. And now you'll see the Rockets all over the Dragons. Will they go for the fouls? Well, Gale there, impeding Ronnie Annie. And that has eaten away 10 seconds of the clock. And he's been good on his free throws so far this evening. And that is testament to his consistency as the Dragons inch ever closer to 100 points. And the second one is good. He goes 2 for 2. Final timeout is taken by the City of Birmingham Rockets. And this is an 8-point game. Once more. Providing the Yorkshire Dragons do hold on here, we don't see a repeat of what we saw in the game between GB and Lithuania. I'll be very tempted to give the Man of the Match award to Jack Melky. I think Nick Lewis has been sensational. David Orff as well has been a destroyer on both the offensive and the defensive glass, but Melky has just heated up when his side have really needed him to. And the only word that I can really use to describe it from a Rockets point of view would be frustrating. Because they've had opportunities in this game, they've got back, they've clawed and fought their way back in time and time again. But it's those little 1%ers, those three-point plays from the American graduate of the University of Southern Indiana, have turned this game well and truly in the favour of the visiting side. So, Donaldson it will be. Gives it to Jackman. Jackman has to take the shots, and it's no good. Blaine hurtles after it. And that may well be that, unless something absolutely spectacular happens. The 2 points appear to be heading back to the north of the country. Well, there you go. That one has gone out of bounds. It's an almighty tussle there, and David Orff goes down in a little bit of a heap in front of the scorers. Thankfully, the Dragon centre is okay. Nice bits of sportsmanship shown there as well by Jackman and Blaine. And well, we saw it in the last play. Jackman going for the quick draw 3. I imagine it'll be the same, and yeah, Faris McGall now comes on. When the Rockets need a 3, he tends to be the man to check into the action. Coach Smith deep in conversation there with Faris McGall. Tends to shoot from the corner in these situations, does the Rockets shooting guard. Just looking at the rotation, it'll be Melky the man to guard him. There we go. We are ready to continue. Let's see what these final 22 seconds have in store. It's Zach Powell. Powell being double teamed. And Powell has been fouled. So this will just be 2 free throws coming up for Zach Powell. I spoke there at length about the Yorkshire Dragons, but just to mention a couple of real standout performances as far as the COB Rockets are concerned, and well, from a scoring point of view, Zach Powell has been an absolute diamond. He's just cashed in his 31st point of the night. You look at his other contributions, 4 assists, 2 steals and a block. Well, he has been absolutely tremendous. So too was Ron Blaine with 18 points, Donaldson with 14, Jackman with 10. It does appear as though this will be a bridge too far for the City of Birmingham Rockets. Final 10 seconds. Foul has been called there. And Zach Powell has been fouled out of the game. So we'll see the youngster Phil Basiudis in for the final few seconds of this one. If Lewis makes one of these, you fancy that'll be all she wrote. And there is the first one. Lewis again just takes a breath, composes himself before this shot. And the second free throw is good. It's an 8-point game once more. Final 7 seconds of this game. Will there be one final scoring opportunity for the Rockets? Here to Basiudis, and Basiudis drills the 3. But it comes too late as far as the Rockets are concerned. It's given us a deep 2 in the end for Basiudis. Nice to see that, his first points of the season. But it is the Yorkshire Dragons who emerge victorious in this one by a scoreline of 98 points to 92. Some outstanding performances from Jack Melkey, Nick Lewis, David Ulf and Jordan Whelan see the northern side to the victory, and they are well deserving of those points as well. As for the Rockets, naturally it's disappointing. I mean, there were some real standout displays from Zach Powell and Blaine, as well as Orlan Jackman and Eric Donaldson. But in the end, well, the Dragons train continues to build momentum. It's a 7th victory in their opening 8 games of the league campaign. And well, they are making a very firm case for them being one of the best sides in British Championship basketball. As for the Rockets, well, they've still got a couple of games in hand. Their next trip is away, but they are back here at Nechells on Saturday the 13th of December as the Hemel Storm come to town. If you can join us, a reminder, tickets are still available for that one on the City of Birmingham Rockets website. But on behalf of myself, Aaron Viles, and all of us here at the City of Birmingham Rockets Basketball Club, we thank you ever so much for your company wherever you've tuned in from. We hope to have your company for the next game, whether that's in person or indeed on the live stream. And we wish you all a very safe and enjoyable end to your Saturday evening.